South Africa's political tensions are once again in the spotlight as the economic freedom fighters raise alarm over what they call an unacceptable delay in the long-awaited Phala Phala judgment. More than 480 days have now passed since the Constitutional Court reserved judgment in a case that has become one of the most politically sensitive matters in the country. The EFF says the delay is not just procedural, but deeply concerning for accountability and public trust. At the center of the controversy is President Cyril Ramaphosa, whose handling of the Phala Phala farm scandal has faced intense scrutiny since the issue first emerged in 2022. The case revolves around allegations that a large sum of foreign currency was stolen from President Ramaphosa's private farm in Limpopo, and that the matter was handled outside official legal channels. While the president has consistently denied wrongdoing, the legal and political questions surrounding the case have continued to linger. Now, the EFF is demanding answers, not only from the president, but from the judiciary itself. Speaking on behalf of the party, EFF leaders argue that a delay of this magnitude undermines the credibility of South Africa's justice system. One senior EFF figure stated, quote, 480 days is too long. Justice delayed is justice denied. The country deserves clarity and the Constitution demands accountability. The case is currently before the Constitutional Court of South Africa, the highest court in the country, whose decisions are final and binding. The court had reserved judgment after hearing arguments related to whether Ramaphosa has a constitutional case to answer regarding the scandal. Here's what that means for South Africans. When a court reserves judgment, it means judges need more time to deliberate on complex legal issues. But in this case, the prolonged delay has raised broader concerns, not just about legal timelines, but about public confidence in institutions. Experts warn that while constitutional cases can take time, extended delays in politically sensitive matters can fuel perceptions of selective accountability. Political analyst commentary suggests that the longer the delay continues, the more it risks becoming a political issue rather than purely a legal one. One analyst explained it this way: the judiciary must remain independent, but it must also be seen to be responsive. Delays of this length, especially in cases involving the head of the state, inevitably raise questions in the public mind. The EFF has positioned itself as a strong critic of both the executive and the judiciary in this matter. The party argues that institutions must act decisively to maintain credibility. Opposition voices have also begun to echo similar concerns, although with varying tone and emphasis. Some parties have called for patience, stressing the importance of allowing the court to complete its work without political pressure. Others, however, argue that transparency is critical in maintaining democratic trust. Meanwhile, the presidency has largely maintained its position that the matter is before the courts and that the president respects the judicial process. President Ramaphosa has previously stated that he acted within the law and has cooperated with all relevant processes. He has also emphasized the importance of institutional independence, including that of the judiciary. But the political stakes remain high. The Phala Phala matter has already influenced internal party dynamics, parliamentary debates, and public perception ahead of upcoming elections. Experts say the eventual judgment, whenever it comes, could have significant implications, not only for Ramaphosa personally, but also for the broader political landscape. It could shape narratives around accountability, governance, and leadership credibility in South Africa. There are also broader constitutional questions at play. The case touches on issues such as executive accountability, the limits of presidential power, and the mechanisms available to hold public office bearers accountable. But for many South Africans, the issue is more practical than theoretical. It comes down to trust. Trust in leadership, trust in institutions, and trust that justice will be delivered fairly and without undue delay. Experts warn that prolonged uncertainty can have ripple effects. When high-profile cases drag on, it creates a perception gap, one governance expert noted. People begin to question whether the system works equally for everyone. That perception, whether accurate or not, can influence everything from voter behavior to investor confidence. At the same time, legal scholars caution against rushing the process. They argue that constitutional matters require careful deliberation, especially when they involve complex evidence and far-reaching implications. Still, the pressure is mounting. The EFF has indicated it will continue to push for answers, both in Parliament and in public discourse. The party insists that accountability must not be delayed indefinitely. As one EFF representative put it, this is not just about one individual, it is about the principle that no one is above the law. As South Africa waits for the court's decision, the situation highlights a broader challenge facing the country, balancing judicial independence with public expectations for timely justice. So what happens next? There is no fixed deadline for the Constitutional Court to deliver its judgment. The timeline remains uncertain. But one thing is clear. The outcome of the Phala Phala case will carry significant weight. It will not only determine the legal standing of the president in this matter, but also influence how South Africans view accountability at the highest level of government. And until that judgment is delivered, the questions and the pressure are unlikely to fade.